This is Hino's Sport, bringing you that heat and that far. We keeping a foot on the wood on the Knicks. We keeping a foot on the wood on the Knicks. And like the Tibetan mastiff that I am, I'm applying what on immediate pressure. Because pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. Let's talk about it, man. I'm loving this, though. Because you got a lot of people, they give their opinions on sports, right? And when they give their opinions, they basically tell you what they think is their version of truth. But I'm going to give you guys the most cold-hearted, the most unadulterated, and the most cutthroat truth teller fashion that's associated with Spence versus Crawford. See, you got a whole bunch of people out there that want to tell you that Terence Crawford is a guy that is a boogeyman. What is the definition of boogeyman? When you think of boogeyman, you think of somebody that scares you. You think of Casper, the real ghost. We're not talking about the televised version of Casper. We're talking about that real Casper shit. That shit that when Casper did, it was like, oh shit, this shit is serious. Casper ain't fucking around. Casper ain't fucking playing. Casper is that dude. If you do your research, you understand what I'm talking about. The real Casper, not the televised kiddish version. That's what Terence Crawford is. I don't know if you guys remember the Grither. There was this ghost called the Grither. My brothers used to fuck around with me and fuck me up when I was a kid, and used to say, the Gritter's coming to get you. The Gritter's coming to get you. They used to fuck around and mess my brain up with that Grither shit, bro. See, what people gotta understand is the Grither was a folklore. The Grither was somebody that was fearful. He had me fucking scared. I couldn't sleep at fucking night because I had to think of the Grither. This is what Terence Crawford is supposed to represent. But Terence Crawford doesn't represent that. What he represents is a snot-nosed or snot-filled booger man. Let me say it again. What he represents is a snot-nosed or snot-filled booger man. Because are you afraid of boogers? No. Boogers is something that anybody, whether they want to admit it or not, whether they do it in public, which you shouldn't, because it just shows that your hygiene ain't shit, or whether you do it in private, which is really what over 90-something percentile of individuals do. They do that shit in private. You dig in your fucking nose and you get the fucking boogers out. We know this to be true because we know this to be something in its most cold-hearted, something in its most unadulterated, and something in its most cutthroat truth teller fashion to be what it is. Motherfuckers do this shit. But you don't see nobody afraid of no damn boogers. So that's what Terence Crawford is. A snot-nosed or snot-filled booger man. Terence Crawford told us one story, yet he's doing the fundamental opposite. You told us you came to 147 to be the boogeyman. Sean Porter called your rabbit ass out. Why aren't you fighting Sean Porter? See, what people gotta understand, in order for a fight to be a super fight, both fighters have to do heavyweight lifting, the notion that showcases that it is a super fight. Errol the True Spence is doing that. He did it with Kell Brook, which is technically the fight of the welterweights. He did this shit with fucking Sean Porter, a phone booth fighter. Errol the True Spence did this shit with Danny Garcia, a top 5 welterweight. Errol the True Spence took on Mikey Garcia, who was a number 4 pound for pound artist, who, mind you, Errol the True Spence didn't win to seek him out. He called Errol the True Spence out. Errol the True Spence fought Lamont Peterson, arguably one of the most skilled 147 pounders. Errol the True Spence fought Chris Algieri, a guy who beat Ruslan Provodnikov that literally made Timothy knothead ass or bullet head fucking Bradley. Basically, he beat through the bullet head. He beat through the knothead and made Timothy Bradley brain dead or nearly fucking brain dead for 1 calendar year. This is what Spence has done. Chris Van Heeteren, a South African fighter who was 23-1, who had a lot of promise. Errol the True Spence mangled this motherfucker. Do I have to keep going on and on and on about the legend of Errol the True Spence and why it continues? When you go 12 rounds with Spence, you are no longer the same fighter. So when people, because they want to stand out, because they want to dare to be different, see, there's cutting against the grain, and then there's bullshit and fuck shit of daring to be fucking different. Let me say it again. There's cutting against the grain, which is what He Knows the Sport does in true alpha extraordinaire, governed by true alpha economics. And then there's bullshit and fuck shit of just being different to be different. When you say that Derrick James is scared of Terence Bud Crawford, Errol the True Spence is scared of Terence Bud Crawford, how? They basically bitch made him. They pulled his whole card out and offered him a gracious 40%. This is the highest payday that Terence Bud Crawford's ever got in his rabid fucking life. If Terence Bud Crawford was serious, he would take the fucking payday. If Terence Bud Crawford was serious, he would just accept his fate. If Terence Bud Crawford was serious, he would just do what Terence Bud Crawford is supposed to do in that fucking situation. You know what that is? Bend the proverbial fucking knee, kiss the ring while you at it, and accept his inevitable fate. Terence Bud Crawford didn't want to accept that shit. You know why? Because Terence Bud Crawford never wanted to fight Errol the True Spence. We gotta call a spade a spade. We gotta keep it real. We gotta keep it a buck. We gotta keep it 100. He Knows the Sport's going to single-handedly lead the fucking charge. And it doesn't matter who it gets hot and bothered like grits. It doesn't matter who gets their feelings fucking hurt. If you're a Bud Man fan, if you're a Bud Tart, if you're a Terence Bud Crawford fanboy man crush, it is what the fuck it is. But Terence Bud Crawford did not want to fight Errol the True Spence. He thought Spence would be at 154 so that Bud could take over 147. Let me say it again. He thought Spence was going to be at 154 so he could take over 147. But lo and behold, we end up having a fucking car crash. We end up having all of these other dichotomies and situations that Errol the True Spence sustained. So it kept him at the welterweight division longer than what he needed to be. And then COVID. 2020 was a fucking wash, man. And then the fact that Errol the True Spence had to basically recycle himself from a fucking car crash. Now that's self-inflicted. We get that. But the bottom line is this, man. And fight fans need to be honest and fucking unbiased, man. This is facts over feelings. This is logic over fucking bias. So if we're putting facts over feelings, we're putting logic over bias, we have to tell ourselves underlying and undercurrent truths. And what the fuck is that? That Errol the Truth Spence has always been doing what he is denoted in doing. The problem is, fight fans, I told you, this speaks of their personality. It speaks of who they are as individuals. It speaks as them. Fight fans don't want to accept. Fight fans don't want to come to the conclusion, and fight fans don't want to come to basically a underlying undercurrent truth of there is one guy that is just that fucking dominant. They don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear one guy is that fucking good. You know what they want to be lied to and told? You know what they want to accept? You know what they want to adhere to? They want to adhere to that boxing is parity. Boxing has multiple people that are on the same level. That's bullshit and fuck shit. Meek Mill taught us, man. There's levels to this shit. There's gears. And the gears is as simple as this. That Errol the True Spence is the rock star and the real fucking boogeyman of the welterweight division. And Terence Bud Crawford is a snot nose in a snot field booger man. Terence Bud Crawford hasn't done nothing. He got hit and dropped by Mean Gajeen Bogugu Bageen Machine. How's Errol the True Spence ducking his ass? Errol the True Spence gave him the fucking game plan when they had the confrontation. Clean your fucking side of the street up. I'ma clean my side of the street up. This is simple fucking science. Unless you're a Negro that's missing a few fucking screws, you're just not gonna get the message. It's a simple science message. Clean your rabbit ass side of the street up. This is what Errol the True Spence was telling fucking Terence Bud Crawford. But you know what Terence Bud Crawford did? He's been doing what he's always done his whole boxing career. Be a chihuahua barking behind a damn fence. Derrick James ain't afraid of no damn Terence Bud Crawford. Derrick James was about to beat the fat out of fucking Bo Fat. Oh, my bad. Bo Mac. Oh, no, my bad. Big Mac, because the motherfucker eat too many fucking Big Macs. Derrick James keep his ass in fucking shape. He eats healthy. He understands health and welfare. He understands health and wellness. Bomac didn't get the fucking message because Bomac too busy tricking off of Terence Crawford's dollars. Because remember, he's the manager / trainer, and instead of his ass using the money to get in fucking shape, we know exactly where that fucking money is going. It's going to his fucking acid-filled, bloated as fuck gut. So we have to ask ourselves these truths, man, and we can't keep lying to ourselves. And what's the cold-hearted truth? What's the unadulterated truth? What's the cutthroat true telefashion truth? It's as simple as this, y'all. One guy is a fucking pretender in Terence Crawford, the Chihuahua, barking behind a damn fence. And one guy's a heavyweight lifter in i.e. Errol Spence. Terence Crawford never wanted the Spence fight, man. If fight fans are being honest with themselves, they're going to tell themselves this truth. And I get it. Motherfuckers are hot and bothered like grits. They mad that they're not going to get Spence versus Crawford. The fight is only not going to happen because Terence Crawford doesn't want to fundamentally accept his neutral and natural fucking position. And you know what that is? To be subservient to Errol Spence, to bend the proverbial fucking knee and kiss the ring while he's at it, and to accept the B-side equation. You're the fucking B-side. And I get it. For a guy of your mental makeup, accepting the B-side fucks you up on such a mental level, you don't know how to bounce back from that. But in life, everything has a fucking bounce back. See, if Terence Crawford is smart and he accepts his inevitable fucking fate, then guess what? Terence Crawford will be in a good fucking position. Terence Crawford just needs to accept the rabbit ass facts that Terence Crawford is nothing but continuously a Chihuahua barking behind a damn fence. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat true telefashion. I done told you guys. This boils down to the fact that Terence Crawford is smart enough to realize that if he accepts the B-side position, he's already lost the fight mentally. And hence, since he's lost the mental fight, because in sports it's an 80-20 rule, once you lose mentally, guess what? The 20% of physical is going to happen when Errol Spence Hagler to fucking Hearns his ass. I keeps the foot on the what on the Knicks. I keeps the foot on the what on the Knicks. If fight fans are being honest with themselves, they gonna call out Terence Crawford. The latest rant that Terence Crawford did is showcase to you guys that this guy right here is on PTSD because he understands inevitably that Spence versus Crawford is going to happen sooner than later, and it is nigh. And when nigh comes around, pressure does what? It bursts his pipes. This is Hino's Sport. Checking out.